raise your hand or type a message? Anything? Did anybody get a chance to try that hand over hand technique?
Hand under hand.
Hand under hand. Yeah? Yeah? Bob?
Yep. What did you think of it?
Bob can't hear. He can't. Do you see where you unmute, Bob?
Yes.
There you go.
No, I didn't try it.
Okay.
I just didn't have reason to, so.
Right.
Thank you.
It reminded me of when we learned how to dance when I was in Junior Farmers, with how to hold a woman's hand.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing, only 50 years later.
You know, that's a really great
Wow.
point, and I've been thinking about your comment, and for a little while I did salsa lessons, and we even learned about that pressure. So the person leading hit those pressure a little bit. So, you know, you're right. That's great. Okay, guys, we're going to get started with the
So
video.
if you remember, she did the normal scenario last week with aging. You know what it's like to go for a cup of coffee, you're interrupted with a telephone call, you forget where you're gonna meet someone for coffee, and that was all normal.
Yep.
Now she's going to go with the not normal.
And she'll recap it here. So let's play that. Here we go.
We need to do a quick review because we've changed places. And one of the things we know about brains is where you learn and hear something matters. And one of the things as we get older, it matters more than you think. When you change rooms, your brain resets the screen. And that is one of the reasons, even if there wasn't a phone call, you might walk from one room to the other and then, what was it I came in here for? Because when you're in a whole new setting, look at all the new data that's coming in and it's bombarding your senses. And if you didn't strongly hook the thing you wanted to go do into that, what's called working memory, by the time you get to the new place, there's nothing to find unless you go back to where you had the thought before and then you can find it. Yeah. Now, I just said a word that's really important, working memory. We now know there's a whole variety of different kinds of memory storage in the human brain. We used to just think it was either long-term and short-term. That's not true. Working memory is probably one of the most vital kinds of memories, and it involves a complex process. Do this. Working memory means that you have to wire together all parts of your brain to get it to work. Because it's complex, human beings can hold the following number of things in working memory. Working memory means I'm able to manipulate and work with them all at the same time. 5, put your hand up. 5, isn't that wonderful? 5 to 8. That's the most a human being can hold on to, and this is the least that a normal functioning human being should be able to hold on to at a time. 5 to 8. So I should be able to hold on to at least 5 pieces of information in my working memory. It's actually pretty complicated. I've got to do a variety of things to do it, but I can. So what I did when I wanted to make coffee, when I was sitting there, finished the TV program, I put make coffee in working memory. And then I went to a new place, and before I could get settled in the new place, the kitchen, which is where I would make the coffee, the telephone rings. So I didn't quite make it to the kitchen to establish the relationship, which would have allowed me to go ahead and do what? Make coffee. I could have finished it off, but instead, what happened is the telephone rang. Attention, attention, new data, incoming. So what I did is I went and answered the telephone, and the first thing, it was my friend. Now I got diverted a little bit because what did I have to find? Because the way she did it. Her name, and so that took a little energy, so it's my friend Betty. And then she asked me a question. Do you want to meet? She gave me data at 2 o'clock, at the mall, at Macy's. She told me there was a new chocolate store that opened. And then I had to hold on to the information about that. And then I had to go find the thing that I know she likes. So I had to go do that. And it was the white, shut up. The white. Now that reaction was you trying to give me more data when I was already trying to work with data. And so what did you notice my little limbic did? Shut up, I don't like that. So shut up is a way to say you're trying to do too much and I didn't like that. And it's a fight system. It was an automatic. So people say, shut up, I'm trying to, would you leave me alone? That distress sign is just, you're trying to put data in and I'm already processing. Do you mind? And what you want to say is, I'm sorry. Instead of, I'm sorry, I was just trying to help you. It's like, what part of I was trying to process data and you're interrupting did you not get? And what's our natural reaction when somebody says, shut up? No, I was going to tell you why I was interrupting you. That's what you want to do. Do this. Go ahead, do it. Y'all love diarrhea of the mouth. You get diarrhea of the mouth. You try to tell them even when they said, don't tell me. You ignore their message back to you because you have important. You want them to understand why you interrupted them. I don't give a shit why you interrupted me. All I'm trying to tell you is quit interrupting me so I can finish what I was doing. Now, some of us are always that way, but guess what happens when you get dementia? Even if you weren't, you become more that way. Guess what happens when you're stressed? Same thing. So professionals, when you're trying to talk to families about, this is what I want you, well, shut up, I can't take it. Family members, you're trying to talk to another family member. I can't hear this right now. Would you? Particularly, you're trying to talk to the one who's the primary because you're observing that their behavior is not helping. And they're going, ah! And you're going, wait, I just want to tell you. What did they just tell you? I'm full, leave it alone. We have a hard time hearing that message, don't we? Because what means we need to do what? Take a time out, just shut up. And then when they pause, that's when you say, I'm sorry, I interrupted what you were doing. Because we want to work with them, not fight with them. And if you keep pushing your agenda, do this, take your finger and poke at somebody with it. Go ahead. How many of you like being poked?
Okay, I'm just going to pause it and press play to see if it catches itself up because I see it's off. Hold on.
With that, would you just be quiet? So what I'm going to tell you, this is a critical message for you to get into your brain and appreciate. When I give you negative feedback, it's not because I'm trying to be ugly. I'm trying to get you to listen to me because you're generally trying to talk to me. So I put coffee in there, but all this other stuff. I filled up all the space. Not only the 5, I'm going to have caramels, but you're going to have coconut. And we need to meet at the menswear entrance. So what will I not have with me when I get there? Vacation. The vacation pictures. And who will I not have called? Margaret. Where's coffee? Well, I lost that a long time ago. That's not even on the table anymore. I mean, it's long gone. I don't even have a way to get to it anymore right now. Except if you're a young person, you're young and your wiring is really good and quick. What will happen? What's the first thing I did when I couldn't think what it was? I looked around the kitchen. So the first thing you do is you look around the kitchen. A young person hasn't done that much stuff in the kitchen. So they look around the kitchen and what do their eyes notice? The coffee pot and they go, cha-ching, drop the penny. They don't have to go anywhere. You're a little older. You've done a lot of things in the kitchen. Some of them we want to talk about, some we don't. But you've done so many things in the kitchen, you can't look around the kitchen and get it to pop. So then you try system number 2. You always go in this order. You talk to yourself. Tell your children it's healthy. Because what you're literally trying to do by talking out loud is prompt the memory of why you came in there. You literally say to yourself, and everybody did it. I heard some of y'all do it. Now, what did I come in here for? Because now you've moved to auditory cueing. You're trying to cue yourself up because if you say it out loud, maybe it will prompt what it was. It will be enough of a cue to get you to go, cha-ching, there it is. But that didn't work either. Because when you get a little older, it wasn't firmly enough embedded, and there's too many other things floating around now. I've lost it. So I have to actually physically travel back to the setup where I was. And then if you watched, I tried the whole thing all over again. I looked at the chair, I looked at the TV. I say to myself, I was watching TV, the program ended, and I still couldn't get it to pop until cha-ching, there it was, right there waiting for me in my working memory, but I just couldn't get to it. Normal aging. That's absolutely normal. All of that is normal.
Okay.
All right. You know, I know visually it's kind of a hard thing to follow, and that because her speech was breaking a bit, but I hope you got the gist of it. I find her entertaining because what she says is really true. That, you know, that you use your eyes, you know, your strongest visual thing. You use your eyes to look around. Now, what was I looking for? What was I trying to do? And you talk to yourself so you can hear. So, you know, two of the strongest things, senses.
Talk to yourself.
All right. So what, any questions or any thoughts or any?
I think it's important that we're talking about, we're still in normal aging here.
Yeah.
You know, I have to do that, especially like the physical part. I talk to myself all the time. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to find my keys or whatever, and then having to go back to, you know, I'll say to the person I'm talking to, what were we talking about? You know, and then until that verbal, but walking back to where I was when, you know, I started the mission, I do that all the time. So I think it's fun just to learn about the brain and how that helps. So
Yeah, you know, and to keep things in that working memory, you know, and that you need time to find your words, and a word can remind you of another word.
yeah.
So Mary and Judy, or Amy and Judy, the question came up in chat here from one of our folks about this lesson is kind of focusing around dementia. How does that differ from Alzheimer's?
That's what we're going to go into next. How dementia differs from Alzheimer's?
Yeah, well, dementia is that umbrella term for many, many diagnoses that have to do with memory. So, you know, as the brain is changing, there are many ways it changes. Alzheimer's is one way. And then you have Lewy bodies and strokes and traumatic brain injury and vascular problems. And so dementia is our overall umbrella for many different diagnoses that have to do with dementia.
You see it.
So some of these tips on dealing with people.
Okay, Bob, I see
are
you.
going to be this.
My
Go ahead,
question,
Bob.
my question has to do with progression. My mother first had Alzheimer's, and then she progressed into dementia, and then her organs started to fail, and she passed on. My question was, and still is, how would it have been best for me to communicate with her? Because the communication with her was at one level with Alzheimer's, and then it moved to different levels with the dementia. Can you answer that?
Yeah, we have a GEM model that TIPA talks about that would exactly answer your question. So the
Her GEM model has to do with going through different stages.
And you can hop back and forth in the GEM model. So
Yep.
for example, she starts with a sapphire, and she explains the characteristics that fall around a sapphire. So in a lot of diagnoses in the medical world, they use stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. And you kind of think like, okay, well, I'm at stage 3, there's not a lot of hope. But with dementia, you can bounce back and forth. So she doesn't like using the stages. And she likes using the diamond and ruby and emerald descriptions because she focuses on the beauty in each one of those stages and how to interact. So I could be dealing with my mom who has Alzheimer's dementia, and she's a sapphire today, and she could be a ruby tomorrow or in the same day. So you have to learn, you know, those different stages. So I highly recommend the GEM model, and Judy and I plan to dig in a little deeper, but I bet Bob, if he wanted to talk to you or I about that a little bit, we could definitely dig into that with you personally.
Mhm. And part of the difficulty with communicating with people with dementia, every kind of dementia, you have to change. They're not going to change. You have to change. So then it's becoming very sensitive to, where is mom today? Is she a sapphire? Is she an emerald? Is she a pearl? And
Bob was going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you because I see, my mom has passed, but I see examples in each of these areas that you have mentioned and the way we tried to deal with it. My dad took care of her, so quite frankly, it was a mental strain on my dad. He just lost it at times. He just blew it, and we tried to calm him down. But thank you for explaining.
Yeah,
Maybe it might be a little appropriate for another session to talk more about the best way to deal with some of the Alzheimer things apart from dementia.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
John,
Thank
could you
you.
give us a quick difference between, I guess I still get confused between Alzheimer's and dementia. I mean, they're so you think they're the same thing, but is there a quick explanation of the difference?
Yeah. I like to liken it to, when people say, I have a heart problem. You know what that means? There are all kinds of problems with the heart. The same thing with dementia. It's a broad term that has many meanings.
So if you can picture the umbrella, so the umbrella has dementia written on it. So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia, okay? So and then if you can picture, and I can't pull this visual up for you right now, but picture these little raindrops underneath the umbrella. Here's the umbrella dementia. It's a big umbrella. And then the size of the raindrops are how many people are affected. So the bigger the raindrop, the more people. Alzheimer's disease under that dementia is the biggest raindrop. And I was trying to look. It's a younger onset. It says chromosomes 21 associated with that. Let's see, Alzheimer's. New details lost first. Recent memory is the worst. There's some language problems, misspeaks, more impulsive or indecisive, gets lost in time or place. Several forms and patterns. Young onset can vary from late life onset. Down syndrome is a higher risk. Notice changes over time related to beta amyloid plaques and pathologies. Oh, there's the umbrella that she's holding up for you. So if you can see that, which it's a little bit hard to see on Judy's screen, the next, so we talked, that's Alzheimer's, right? That's just a really just a big one. The next,
Can we find that umbrella somewhere?
we can send that umbrella to you.
Hey, that'd be great.
Did you give your email the last time we were on?
Yep, I think Bob,
Okay.
I think Doug's got it. But.
Okay, so we can definitely send that umbrella, but just to give you okay, so Alzheimer's is the biggest raindrop. So it affects a lot of people with dementia are suffering from the Alzheimer's raindrop kind. But if I were to just really quickly, another, fairly big drop is a Lewy body dementia. So they tend to have problems with movement problems, falls, delusional thinking, episodes of rigidity, insomnia, sleep, nightmares that seem real, delusional thinking, fine motor problems with their hands and swallowing. So you see how, it's still under the dementia, but it's different. And there's, Judy, is it right? Hundreds of different kinds?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of different types of dementia.
Yeah.
So that is a great question though, because I think a lot of people get really confused with that Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's because so many people suffer from Alzheimer's right? We think that it's, well, how's it different? Well, it is actually dementia. So yeah, does that help? Oh yeah, Bob?
Yeah.
Well, if Judy could put that umbrella up again for a couple minutes, I could take a screenshot of it, and it's not in focus, Judy. Pull it back or forward. Worse, bring it closer. Bring it. Judy, say something.
Hello.
Good. Thank you very much. We
Got
got
it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, you're
And
welcome.
we'll also send it to you guys.
Yeah, I would like that. Thank you.
Yep.
We have another question here. This is from Terry. For normal aging, what do you think about pre-given, which is being advertised on TV constantly?
About what?
Previgen.
Oh, Prevagen, the medicine?
Prevagen, yeah.
Yeah. If that is correct, that is, I'm trying to think what it's for. Is it for memory?
Terry, do you want to address that? You're muted, Terry. Terry, you're muted. We can't hear you.
It's advertised every morning on KTTC. It will be for people. These are people. They seem to be doing fine, but they go into the kitchen and they forget what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. They start taking this medication called Prevagen, and they are just so much better.
As with all medications, many times it's trial and error.
Yeah.
Like what will work for one person does not work for another.
I just wondered what you thought of it.
That
Or if you knew people who are taking it.
Prevagen and Antrovert. I know Antrovert more. Or is it Aricept? I think it's Aricept. And it will help for a while. It won't take away. It's not a cure. It's symptom management. It'll help for a while. And then it won't work anymore because the Alzheimer's or the dementia is going to break through that medication, and then because the brain is literally dying. And as it dies, there's no way for it to regenerate itself. So the Prevagen is maybe helping it rewire temporarily, but it's not a cure.
Okay, thank you.
And then you see the umbrella.
I put it up there. Can you guys see it? Is that a little
Yeah.
better to see?
I think color, it's a little easier.
So see, there's that Alzheimer's, that big drop. Can you guys see that on your screen?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the vascular, Lewy body, frontal total. Yeah, it's just a nice visual to help understand dementia. Okay.
So if you see on death certificates that people have died of dementia, it's a term because your brain literally dies. And that means your brain, which is organizing not only your thoughts and the way you communicate, but it's organizing your vital organs, your breathing, your heartbeat, your blood pressure, everything. And then as your brain dies, your body is not able, your brain isn't able to regulate the body anymore.
I've got a curiosity question. I noticed in your umbrella, Lewy body is associated with Parkinson's.
It can be. Yes. Yes.
I've had friends who've got Lewy bodies sometimes, and I never really understood what that did to you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Go ahead, Judy.
That's a tough one because the biggest thing with Lewy bodies, it has a part of the brain which works with the long-term memory. So people are bringing forth those bad memories that they have, and they're acting them out, especially in their dream REM cycle at night. And that's where they'll scream and they'll hit and they they've even broken the jaws of their spouse.
Huh.
They can get pretty violent.
Wow.
Yeah. So Lewy bodies it's the same dementia umbrella, but your symptoms are going to be a little different.
And it is, there is a lot of Parkinson's related to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So often people who have Parkinson's, if they end up with dementia, it falls in that Lewy body category because of the muscle reactions or
Yeah.
nervous.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have another question or? Okay, just wanted to make sure. We want to review so that we can watch the next part of the video. Anybody remember? So as we talked about normal aging, and we're talking with people with normal aging, how should we greet someone? Do anybody remember that in the beginning? What is helpful?
There you go. You got it. You got it, you guys. Excellent.
It's the visual. And how about go ahead and let them off the hook. How about we start saying our name, right? We start saying our name. Hi, Judy. Amy.
Hey, Amy.
Yep. Calling on the phone. Hi, Mom. It's Amy. Instead of, even though it's funny, hi, Mom. It's your favorite daughter.
Or don't you remember me? Don't you know my voice?
If someone is looking for a word, what is a great option to give the person a chance? So when we were talking about that, instead of like jumping in, and I do this all the time, I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible. Aren't I, Judy?
You are.
I am the worst. Like, I don't let people finish sentences. I try to finish it for them. They'll say, I was, and I'll say, at the grocery store, at the shoe store, at your sister's house.
You have ADHD too?
Yes, I do, actually.
I do too, so I know that problem, yeah.
Right?
It's very hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So silently count. Let them try to find the word,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
patient, and just, you know, wait.
Give them time.
To prompt to remember more than 5 things, what might be helpful? Does anybody remember that? If you're trying to remember more than 5 things,
Talk out loud. Talk to yourself too. That helps, you know.
talk to yourself. Does anybody have to make lists as it is?
Yep.
I do. Like, I try to go to the grocery store and it'll be like 3 things. And I think that I can just keep repeating them until I get to the grocery store and I'll be fine. And wrong.
And then I make a list and then I forget the list.
Yeah,
That's right. Yep. Yep.
that's a whole nother problem.
It's almost like you're 3 steps ahead of yourself, you know, that you're thinking ahead too far. So, yeah.
And then another thing that Teepa brings up to remind is if you ask me how to get somewhere and I'm older, what might I do when describing directions? Is there some, you know, these are just simple aging to remember, to help people. So use landmarks. You know, instead of east or west, or you're going to go north, or you're going to go to 37th Street. Again, that 5 things, right? You know, like, so then we're using our visual. We're telling them you're going to, at the library, you're going to turn right. And then that helps me with my memory and try to remember things.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah. Anything else we want to go over there, Judy?
Yep. And normal. You guys are all normal. Just
Are normal.
try to keep that in mind. Normal. And when it's not normal, it's going to become evident to a lot of people. You'll be able to hide it for a while, and it will become evident. So my prayer for myself in my old age is to have people around me that let me know when I'm being a poop head. I trust them on that. So, you know, I'm asking that people trust those people around you. That when they say, you know, you seem to be getting more forgetful, clue into that. Okay.
Should we start it?
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully she'll be caught up here.
Hmm.
I'm in the living room and I've been watching TV and the program ends and I said, well, you know what? I think I'll go make something to drink because I want something. I'll make some of the stuff that you get, coffee. That's it. Gonna make it. Phone rings. Hello? Hey, sweetheart. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who is this exactly? Betty who? Oh. Well, why didn't you say? Okay. Well, what do you want? Me today? Why do you wait till the last minute? I wish you'd tell me ahead of time. Well, I don't remember you talking about it at Bridge. Did you talk about it at Bridge? Well, you talk all the time at Bridge. Your mouth runs incessantly. Huh? Well, okay, I don't mean to be mean, but you just talk a lot, that's all. What? Oh, you want to meet at the mall? Okay, well, that's fine. Which end? 2 o'clock? Yeah. Macy's? Well, honey, I don't think there's a Macy's at that mall. Where's there a Macy's? No, that's a J.C. Penney's. It's a J.C. Penney's. I have a card with them. I have a credit card with them. I know what it is. I buy things there. What do you mean they moved out? No, I shopped there not long ago. There's no way they moved out. Did they just close up? Well, good Lord. No, that's still, you sure? I think you're wrong. Well, fine, I'll meet you at that end. I know what you're talking about then. Huh? Inside the men's, well, of course I know where inside the menswear is, but you better get to the right store. You're not going to be there. Huh? All right, well, fine, whatever. What? Oh, they opened a chocolate store. Well, you know me, I love that. That's my favorite. What? Well, I'll have caramel, and you'll get the, oh, you like the kind of brown hairy ball and the brown stuff. What do you mean, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the brown hairy ball kind that you like. You like the brown hairy ball. Do you speak English? Honest to God, get what you want. I don't give a shit. I mean, whatever. I won't start arguing about this. Huh? Well, no, I'll call her and see if she wants to come. That's fine. What? The vacation pictures? Oh, about on the boat? Yeah, I'll bring them. Wait till you see yourself in that bathing suit. Well, honey, you look like a cow. No, I'm telling you, your butt cheek is hanging out so bad. I mean, it looks, I mean, you must have put on, what, 30 pounds? I mean, you're eating too many of the brown hairy ball things. That's what's going on. I mean, that's all I can tell you about it, because you got to be sucking them down, because the way it's coming. Well, if you don't like looking the way you look, you should do something about it. That's what I say. Well, listen, do you want to get together? Or are you going to get an attitude? Well, then I'll see you there, too. That's fine. I don't know why you're so stirred up. You're the one eating. All right, then. Shit. I mean, I don't know what her problem is. Lord, she gets an attitude. Now, let me think here. Oh. A dirty cup. A coffee cup. Now, I told my son that I was fairly sure that gypsies were coming in here at night and making coffee, drinking my coffee, and leaving dirty dishes, because I've never left a dirty dish in my life. And here it sits, a dirty coffee cup, partially drunk out of. I'll guarantee this has their prominence all over it. And I better go check the bathroom, because sure, when they get in here and get that, they'll steal toilet paper, too. They always steal toilet paper. Look at that. See, the roll's empty again. They come in here, and he thinks I'm not nuts, because I saw that it's gone. Well, I'm going to go down to the corner store here and get some toilet paper, because there's nothing worse than constipation, and you got to go, and there's no toilet paper. You got to have some. So I go down to the corner store, and I pick up a few things that I need, because I know there's some things I need. And I come back, and I go to put them in the fridge and such, and there's another quart of milk in there. Well, I wonder who brought that by. I don't know when they brought that. Well, good, I can make use of it. It'll be fine. And let me go put this toilet paper up. You know, I'm not going to put it in here, because sure as hell they'll steal it just like they stole the other stuff. I'm going to go put this in the spare bedroom closet, because they won't think to look there. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. This is where they're keeping it until they can bring a truck to come pick it up. There's got to be 30 rolls right there. I'm going to hide it under the bed. They won't know where to look for it. At 10 minutes after 2, the telephone rings. Hello? Well, hi there. How are you? What do you mean, where am I? I'm at home. Where are you? Well, what are you doing at the mall? Well, if you wanted me to come to the mall, you should have called me. I can't read your mind. What do you mean you did? Who'd you talk to? No, I didn't talk to you. I don't remember if I'd talked to you. I hadn't talked to you in, I don't know, a month or so. You did not call me. Maybe you called the other one. Listen, I mean, I hate saying this because I hate even bringing it up, but I think you best go see the doctor because I think you may have that dementia they talk about because I think you're all turned around, sweetheart. All right, well, bye-bye. All right, so at your table, I want you to do a quick review of what's normal and what's not. So go through the laundry list of everything we've talked about and see if you can highlight some of the things of not normal. Just talk about your not normals.
Judy, I think we'll just play it through. I'm trying to be conscious of the time. It's already 10:46. All right, because she reviews what's normal and not, and then we can talk. Will be confused about past and present. Hiding the toilet paper under the bed. We see a lot of that, hiding things, and then yep. We'll know a normal, we'll know a person, but not their name.
Yep.
Not normal is unable to successfully recall a person's identity. So that's different than a name. That's
like when someone comes up, Mom, don't you know me?
Yep.
That's, no, they don't.
Okay. Keep playing that, see what she says here. Okay. We're going to keep going through.
I'm going to take you through and see how many things you picked up on that I know. Let's see how good you are. You're pretty good, I bet. So when I answered the phone, did I actually know exactly who I was speaking to? No. So I was unable to take the voice print and match it to the person that I know. So the challenge here is I covered a little bit. Hey, sweetheart, of course I do. Yeah, Betty who? Because I got the Betty, she told me Betty, but even with Betty, even with the name, I couldn't get across to the other side of my brain, recognize the voice print and go, oh yeah, that's who it is. I had to have help to get back across and find the last name and hook it into the picture that I have in the back of my brain. My wiring's not working quite right. Now that could have been a stroke. It could be inattention. It could be that I know a lot of Bettys, or it could be that something's starting to go wrong with my wiring, okay? Now the next thing that happened, we're going to meet at the mall at 2 o'clock. What happened to the word Macy's and my association with that new store? It's just not there. There's no connection. The new data did not get wired into my hippocampus. I'm not able to hold on to the word, connect it with a location, and make it be something I could find. So when I go to the mall, what signage am I going to be looking for? J.C. Penney's. And so I will go right by that mall, and I will keep driving, and I will keep driving because I know that it's got to be here. I can go over 300 miles, and then when I find the J.C. Penney's, I don't recognize, number one, how far I've driven and how long it's been. I don't think I've gone that far. I think maybe 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it was just slightly, it was a little bit longer. I have no idea how dangerous I have just made my life and how challenged you are by what I'm doing, because I can't hold on to that data because my hippocampus is not necessarily registering accurately. So this is why we have so many of those things where people get turned around. It's my wayfinding that's challenged by this. Now, again, this is a highly vascularized blood supply area of your brain, so it's high risk for strokes, but it's also one of the very first places that for many types of dementia we see damage. And so the challenge is they can't figure out how to get from place to place. Once they're in a place, once they get to the place, they recognize all the cues about the place. It's just getting there and getting back. And these can be, by mid-disease, these can be really familiar places. And so they're standing in the house, and they say, where's the bathroom? And your heart drops, because it's like, well, Daddy, it's right down the hall. Well, when did you move it to right down the hall? Because now what I have, do this. I have an overlay of this new data, but the old data is the house I grew up in. Yep. And I'm literally picturing the house I grew up in and where I would find the restroom. And this is not matching. And so I'm almost immobilized, or I'm frustrated because I thought it would have been right there. And so my question to you is, when did you move it? And what does your brain go? It's exactly where it's always been. Because these layers do this. These layers are clearly separated. Do this for me. They're starting to interlock and get messed up. And so if you look like somebody who was in my life a while back, I may make a mistake and think you are that person because I'm losing the layering of time in my hippocampal area, just like I'm losing my space placement. Time and space are controlled by your hippocampus. And I'm starting to lose that skill and directionality. Can't do it. So the next thing that comes up, so we have that one, and then the next one. I like caramels and you like, now, I want you to take this one. The first words people who have cognitive change almost always lose, they almost always lose nouns first. They lose the names of things because they're highly specific and you have to get to a particular location and then you have to articulate it. One is getting it in and the other one is processing and the other one's getting it back out. So you have, it's really complicated. You've got to receive, you've got to process, you've got to send out. This is all these guys together. But let's look for a word, push it up like this, but I can't find it. So here's what I want you to do. When you have not normal, go like this. Yahoo! This is my attempt to describe the word. What do you notice about how far away from the word I am? Pretty far away. And so your brain is going, huh? Because when you describe the word, it was a short circle. There's actually a term for it. It's called circumlocution. I talk around the word. So I called it a brown hairy ball in the brown stuff. And I can tell most people in this room, if you've never heard me do it before, your brain automatically went, ooh, what? Because in your mind, for 90% of you, you went to a sexual image and it wasn't pretty. Admit it. Many of you don't want to admit that's what you actually pictured in your mind. You pictured a ball. It was small. It was hairy. And it was covered in brown stuff. And you were not thinking coconut in chocolate. You were thinking gross and disgusting, and I hope I don't have to clean that up. Especially caregivers, you were for sure thinking this. But let me ask you, what does the outside of a coconut look like? It's a brown, hairy ball. And what I was trying to do is describe coconut, but I couldn't find a lot of the descriptors, and so I had to go to the outside of the coconut, realize that I'm describing it visually. A brown, hairy ball in the brown stuff. Then I lost a second word, chocolate. And so I'm left with these brown stuff is vague. So I want you to do this. I'm looking for something. I want to tell you something. you know, the whatchamacallit, the thing that it is, you know, the thing that is you know, the thing that goes around the thing, you know what I mean, the thing that you put in, the one who comes by and does the thing that he does with the thing. And you're going, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because your brain, do this, if this is what I'm doing, your brain is going, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? And your brain's going, there's too many options. I don't know what to pick. Your brain's, I don't know what you're talking about because we're expecting this. That's not what you got. And so this is frustrating for who? Both of us. We are both incredibly frustrated by this lack of skill. We get so frustrated that we get stupid about it. And you turn to the person and I say, turn to your partner or somebody near you now because you may have switched up. I want one of you to say, I need something. Go ahead and say that. And I want the other person to spontaneously react to that. What do you need? Yes, what did you just ask them for? I want you to realize how stupid you are. I want you to realize how dumb that was. They said to you, I need something. Obviously, if they could have thought of the name of the thing they needed, what would they have said? I need a... So what did you ask them? The thing they couldn't do it. Why do you think they didn't do it? Because they couldn't think of it. Now, what you're expecting is this. With dementia, good luck.
Judy, are you on mute?
There we go. Okay.
Okay. All right. So that is the end of the video.
Does it resonate with anybody?
Geez, we have a lot of those conversations at our house. You know that thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It is frustrating. It's frustrating for both of us, you know.
Right.
Yeah, well, I find my frustration with tools because I don't know the names of the tool. You know, so I'll say, well, the doohickey that you used for doing the job you did last week.
I found the one interesting where the bathroom one and even driving to the J.C. Penney's. I mean, that's just a really interesting, like we gave her new data, which is, you know, Mom, now it's Macy's. She doesn't have that in her old, so she literally can't take that information in.
Yeah.
So she's still looking for J.C. Penney's. I mean, that is such a good visual of normal versus not normal. I mean, not being able to come up with the word, but is different, you know, and how she drove 300 miles looking, and then how you can get so turned around. And then even explaining in the bathroom, you know, married and had children and lived in this house for 25 years, but the memory that's there is their childhood house. I mean, as caregivers, I know that they have shared that this happens, you know, and so, I mean, imagine, I just think, wow, how scary. Like, yeah, you had a question?
I had a girlfriend who took care of her husband at home with Alzheimer's, and it was alcohol-related dementia. But he kept wanting to go home. You know, he had no idea where he was, and she'd have to get him. Take me home, you know. And she'd get in the car and say, okay, where, you know, and just drive him around for a while. But it was, and then he thought no way was she his wife. She was somebody else because he'd never marry anybody that old. You know, in his mind, he was 40, you know, and so it was like, even though he was in his 70s. So, you know, it was really difficult, really difficult.
Oh, that is difficult. The I want to go home is a very common language that we hear with our dementia clients. And one of the verbiage that we learned was so going back to the gem thing that we touched on lightly, is trying to figure out where your person is that day. And, you know, so instead of saying, a common mistake is, we are home. You know, John, this is home. We are home. I told you that already. We are home. Instead, is changing that vocabulary. Do you need something from home? Are you tired? Do you want to take a nap, or are you hungry? So,
look underlying to what they're looking for is comfort.
Right. And so
all right, well, what makes them comfortable? Is it time for their nap? Do they usually eat at this time? Do they go out for a drive about this time every evening? Was it time for chores? Just what?
Are they looking for something in particular at home? Maybe a quilt or a picture, or, but if you just say that, what do you need from home? And we're already having a hard time, pulling that vocabulary down. The this or that, so are you looking for something, or are you tired? Now you've helped to, are you cold?
Yep.
So,
or maybe they're hungry. Would you like a cookie with a cup of coffee?
Thank you. It was just I didn't realize that was a pretty common thing. Is everybody, that's the brain remembers from before. It doesn't remember.
And it's quite common that 100 years ago, when people were small and they were growing up in one home, they would sleep with their siblings. So you might have 3, 4, 5 people in a bed. So now as they age and they're widowed or widower, and as they regress in their memory, they're looking for someone to sleep with. They're looking for somebody, a sibling, to bring comfort for them. It's nothing sexual. They want comfort that they had as a kid.
I think another thing that's really important to point out here that Teepa says, so we talked about, she did the normal aging scenario first, which we all could relate to.
Oh, yeah.
Then we had the not normal aging, where I think some people are like, oh, I can relate to some of those things too. But Teepa likes to say that not all not normal signs, it may not be dementia. There are other factors.
That's right. Yeah.
That can trigger some of these not normal aging responses, like hearing impairment or high stress or being ill. We talk about this.
Bladder infection.
Bladder infection is common, can cause some of those not normal aging.
Pneumonia. Because your body, as the brain changes, it doesn't even have the ability to respond with a fever anymore. So it's, so a fever, we normally say, well, I've got an infection somewhere. Not the case, not necessarily.
It is 11:02, and from last time, I just remember a lot of people really needed to stick to that 1 hour. Is there any questions that we can answer?
Feel free to leave if you need to leave, but we'll stand as long as you have questions or want something.
And then we'll make sure you get those follow-up emails as well.
Yep.
I do want to mention real quick here while you folks are thinking about the questions you might have. I want to first of all thank Judy and Amy for taking time to do this presentation for us today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For,
our pleasure.
For putting this on, and for 125 Live for sponsoring this for us. We really appreciate it. Want to remind you that our next session, July 13th, same time, same station, so to speak. We're going to have Joan Bachman in here talking about her book. If only you would have asked. I think you'll really enjoy that. But one of the things that I'd like to throw out there, that as I was listening to this and watching the responses today, I think there's a great deal of interest. I think there's a great deal of questions around this subject matter. So if you would like us to do more sessions on dementia and Alzheimer's, let us know. There's other programs that we can put together. Maybe we can have Judy and Amy just come in and talk about the different forms of it. Because, since I've been working for Visiting Angels, I've learned a lot. I had a buddy whose mother-in-law would become very agitated late in the day. And then I found out about sundown I believe. So, another form of dementia, whereas the light goes away, they become more agitated. So you may want to, if you would like that, let us know. We would love to, we want to bring you programs that you really are interested in hearing about. So
I know personally, I would like that that would be really helpful to hear, different stories and scenarios that, and I remember she did say that they had called it sundowners and it was worse after about 4 o'clock or so, getting worse.
And we do have what we call the GEMS model that we were talking about earlier. There is a whole workshop on the GEMS model alone.
So we could do the same thing.
Right, and go through it step by step, what it means as the disease advances. And then how
there's a lot of information, hours and hours of information that we can give you. But it's really helpful, especially if you are trying to support someone living with dementia.
That's right.
Super helpful to understand these things. Oh, Bob's got a question. Bob, you're on mute. Let's see. Unmute, Bob. You figured it out last time. Let's see if we can get you on. There you are.
There you go.
Time to say goodbye. I've got.
Bye, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Take care. God bless.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Stay safe.
Dawn, are you leaving too, or are you saying bye?
No, we're just waving goodbye.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye.
No, but I really have learned a lot from I have an 87-year-old mother who I can tell is, starting to fade too. And we finally got the car away from her, but it was quite a.
That's
a rough one. That
was a rough one. It was really a rough one because that
is the most rough.
But she's still living independently. So it's like, okay, I got to watch for all these things, because I'm the caretaker. So, even though she's independent, but those are things to watch for because I notice she's saying she's forgetting more and more things. So I do take care of the pills. That's the most important thing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But just think about it as just in our own lives, we don't want to lose our independence. We want to stay independent as long as possible.
Oh, sure.
So when we broach these things about that, okay, Dad, I don't should be driving anymore, or, we need to help you with this or that. Any of us are going to get a little bit defensive about that. We don't want to have to hear that we can't do that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if there is a book about the GEMS, and I don't know about that, but there is a lot of information that we can send you. So we'll get that out to you guys. Since we kind of touched on it, we can get you just kind of like the beginner's model to understanding those GEMS. But there is a whole presentation on them too. So maybe we'll come back and do that. But in the meantime, we'd love to get you that umbrella visual. So we'll try to get as many visuals as we can sent out to those emails.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure we get your emails. I did earlier put into the chat section the link to our Alzheimer's Visiting Angels Alzheimer's walk. If you'd like to join our team, we'd love to have you sign up to do that. So you will find that link in the chat section as well. But if you have any questions, I think most of you know how to get a hold of me. Just let me know and we'll try to get the answers back to you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Anybody else have anything they want to chat about? No? Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming today. Bye-bye.
I hope the next time we get to see you, it's in person. That's my hope.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll be here, right here. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Vicki. Amy, did you want your phone on?
Oh, no. I just used that to be able to share that picture. There we go.
So I think it went pretty good. Joe, you're muted.
I'm here.
I think the
Yeah.
GEMS one will actually be easier to do because it's much more specific than dementia, which is a huge topic.
Yep.
Right. But I think it looked like we had about 16, 17 again turnout.
Yep.
didn't it?
Yep.
So
That's good.
yeah, I think pretty well. So.
And I can see it
Any
with the
thoughts,
people
you guys?
No, we
the
were
people
about-
who have actually had experience with it are having questions like, well, what is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Is there a full-size color one of this? I
Yes.
figured Snapchat. Then I could put that in attachment to them too.
And yeah, and we can send you one about the gems too.
I think
Yeah, the
I've
GEMS
got
too.
one and I can scan it for you.
Great. Okay.
It's on
Yep,
like a
I have one
cardboard
too.
thing.
Oh yeah, you have that cardboard one. That one's nice.
Yeah.
And then we have
So
one
Joe
with
get-
gems.
Joe, did you get Dawn's email from the last time and Sylvia's email from the last time?
Let me see.
They
I've
put it
got
in the-
I got Ed Fischel, Clinton Wilson, Terry Nick Nielsen, Don and John Stone. So I'm probably missing some then.
You say you
Well,
got Nick? You got Nick and Terry?
Yes, I do. I got Nick and Terry and Don and John. And
All right.
I have Clinton Wilson and Ed Fischel and Bob Gelb.
Yeah.
Did you get a screenshot of all the people again, Joe?
When I took the screenshot, there were only like 10 people on there, so I didn't get
Oh.
the whole list of it.
Well, in the chat room, they've got two people here, Karen and Mark, have sent their email addresses.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have Hicks. I don't think it's Sylvia, but it's something similar to that. Syneva.
Cineva?
Cineva at, yeah.
Cineva is
at
her
Gmail.
name. So Cineva and Sylvia are the same person.
Okay. I will send her because I got an email. So I'll email you that one.
Okay.
And okay, good. All right. Well, I think well.
Yep, I do
good,
too.
good. And I think it was really great they had the question about dementia versus Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I do too.
And getting into the umbrella, because that really explains it all, because it is dementia is the overall thing, and
Right.
all other ones underneath there. Yeah. That was great.
You know,
that you
which can
got-
be, even to me, who works with you guys, that's a little confusing, because what do we call the association that's looking for a cure? The Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
almost like,
that's interesting.
yeah, it almost should be like the Dementia Association.
That's right,
With
yeah.
Alzheimer's as one of the things.
But
Well, I
then
think it's because that association is only concerned really with Alzheimer's. You know, they're not trying to they're at a specific thing, not trying to raise money for everything, but just Alzheimer's.
oh yeah. Okay, interesting.
That's true.
And Alzheimer's Association kind of has that AA ring. If they did Dementia Association, it's like,
Hmm.
duh. I don't know. Probably something like that.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, so 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock. I gotta
2
get.
o'clock, yep.
We're all like, yeah, sure.
Woo. Okay,
All right. I'll see you
Guys,
guys in a bit.
just
Good
so
job.
you know, you guys
There.
look much better in person, because then I can see you in a 3-dimensional form. You guys look better in person.
Really?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. That's nice to know. Okay.
All right,
Bye.
guys, take
Bye.
care.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.